Eels are aquatic animals that live mainly in freshwater areas such as ponds, lakes, rivers, rice fields and canals. Catching eels requires experience, technique and understanding of their living habits. There are many different ways to catch eels, each method suitable for terrain conditions, time and available tools. One of the most popular ways is to use bamboo tubes. Bamboo tubes, or plastic tubes with one end sealed, the other end open and attached with a net or a core so that the eels can crawl in but cannot escape. The fisherman will put fragrant bait such as worms, rotten fish or bee pupae in the tube, then place the tube where the eels often live, usually in soft mud or on the edge of a rice field. After a night, the eels will crawl into the tube to eat the bait and be trapped, making it easy for people to harvest. In addition to bamboo tubes, people also use eel fishing. A traditional but highly effective method. Tools include a small fishing rod or long fishing line, a hook with fragrant bait, usually worms or fish meat. Eel fishing is usually done at night or early morning, because this is the time when eels are most active. When the eel bites the hook, the fisherman needs to pull hard to hold the eel firmly, avoiding the case of the eel entering the cave. Another method is to dig a hole to catch eels by hand. Eels often hide in mud holes in the ground near ice fields or canals. The fisherman will carefully observe the mud or small holes on the shore, then gently put his hand into the hole to find the eel. When touching the eel's body, he needs to hold it firmly and pull quickly to avoid slipping. However, this method requires experience because he may encounter water snakes or other aquatic species. In addition, people also use electricity to catch eels. But this method can be harmful to the ecosystem and is not recommended. Electricity will paralyze the eel and make it rise to the mud surface, helping to harvest faster. However, this method can affect other organisms and the quality of eel meat. In short, there are many ways to catch eels, from manual methods such as digging holes, placing traps, and fishing eels to more modern methods such as using electricity. However, traditional methods are still preferred because they preserve natural resources and ensure the best quality of eel meat. Catching eels on boats is a special method, often applied in deep water areas such as large rivers, estuaries or swamps. Unlike catching eels in ponds, lakes or ice fields, catching eels on boats requires people to have experience, use specialized tools and understand the habits of eels. One of the popular methods is to set eel traps using bamboo or plastic tubes. The tubes are made of bamboo, rattan or plastic, with attractive bait such as earthworms, rotten fish or bee pupae inside. Fishermen will drop the tubes into areas of slow-moving water where eels can hide. After a period of time, usually a night or a few hours, the fisherman will pull the trap onto the boat to check and harvest the eels. In addition, eel fishing is also a method applied by many fishermen on boats. They use long fishing lines with hooks attached with aromatic bait to lure eels from the bottom of the water. Eel fishing on boats is often done at night, when the eels are most active. Fishermen must be patient, watch carefully and have the technique to pull the line at the right time so as not to let the eels escape. Some professional fishing boats also install long fishing lines with many hooks. Helping to increase the harvesting efficiency. In addition, the method of using nets or trawls is also used to catch eels on boats. This type of net has small mesh to hold the eels without injuring them. Fishermen drop the net to the bottom of the river or in shallow muddy water, then pull it up to harvest. This method requires the coordination of many people and precise net operation techniques to ensure that the eels do not escape. In some places, people also use a mild electric current to stimulate the eels to leave their hiding places, causing them to rise to the surface of the water and be easily captured. However, this method can affect the ecological environment and other aquatic species, so it is not widely recommended. Fishing eels on boats is highly effective, helping fishermen exploit resources from rivers. However, to maintain the sustainability of aquatic resources, fishermen need to apply reasonable methods. Avoid depleting resources and affecting the natural environment after eels are successfully caught on board. Eel preservation and processing also play an important role in ensuring product quality before being put into consumption. Because eels are a species that can live for a long time outside of water if there is suitable humidity, fishermen often keep them in wooden crates or net cages with water to maintain their life. If they cannot be preserved for a long time, some fishing boats will use ice to cool them, helping the eels stay fresh longer. However, it is important to be careful not to let the eels come into direct contact with ice water because this can make the eel meat mushy, affecting the quality when processed. During the harvesting process, fishermen also have to classify eels according to size and quality. Large, healthy eels are often of higher economic value and are given priority for sale to restaurants or for export. Small or damaged eels can be kept for on-site processing or sold at a lower price. If caught in large quantities, some vessels may have specialized on-board tanks to keep eels alive longer, especially during long sea voyages. After returning to shore, eels will be distributed to various consumption channels such as seafood markets, restaurants, or processing facilities. Live eels have higher value because they can be used in fresh dishes such as braised eel with banana and bean curd, stir-fried eel with lemongrass and chili, or eel soup. For eels that are no longer alive or of low quality, fishermen can dry them, make eel sauce, or process them into packaged products to increase their commercial value. Although eel fishing on ships brings great economic benefits, Overexploitation can have negative impacts on the ecosystem. Therefore, some localities have issued regulations on the size of eels allowed to be caught, as well as restricting the use of harmful methods such as electricity or chemicals. Fishermen are also gradually switching to environmentally friendly fishing methods to protect long-term resources. In general, eel fishing on boats not only requires skill and patience but also an understanding of sustainable preservation and exploitation techniques. If done properly, this will be a profession that brings stable income to fishermen, while contributing to providing a nutritious food source for the market. In addition to the challenges in the process of catching and preserving eels on boats, fishermen also have to face many factors affecting nature and the environment. Weather is one of the important factors that directly affects fishing efficiency. On cold or stormy days, eels often move less. Making fishing or setting traps more difficult. On the contrary, during the rainy season or when the water level rises, eels are more active, helping to increase harvest productivity. Therefore, experience in observing the weather and understanding the eel's life cycle plays an important role for fishermen. In addition to the weather, environmental factors such as water pollution, changes in currents and the decline in aquatic resources also significantly affect eel fishing on ships. The increase in industrial and agricultural activities using chemicals or discharging waste directly into rivers can reduce the quality of eel's habitat. This not only reduces catch but also affects the quality of eel meat, causing difficulties in consumption and export. Therefore, many fishermen have now switched to a conservation fishing model, only exploiting seasonally and applying responsible fishing methods to protect long-term resources. In addition, the trend of applying technology to eel fishing on ships is also growing. Some modern fishing vessels are equipped with GPS positioning systems to accurately determine areas with high eel density, helping to save time and improve harvesting efficiency. Automatic eel traps have also been improved, reducing labor and increasing the ability to harvest eels sustainably. Some purchasing facilities have even invested in cold supply chains on board to ensure that eels remain fresh throughout the transportation process. In addition, as the eel fishing industry develops, building brands and expanding consumption markets have also become important issues. Previously, eels were mainly consumed domestically, but now the demand for exporting eels to international markets such as Japan, Korea and Europe is increasing. To meet export standards, fishermen and processing enterprises must comply with strict procedures on food safety. Environmental protection and product quality assurance. This promotes investment in controlled fishing models, limiting overexploitation to ensure sustainable supply for domestic and foreign markets. In general, eel fishing on boats is not only a livelihood but also a part of the fisheries economy despite facing many challenges from nature, the environment and the market. With innovation in fishing techniques, preservation and consumption, this industry still has strong development potential. It is important to have a combination of fishermen, businesses and management agencies to build a reasonable exploitation model. ensuring that eel resources are always maintained and developed sustainably in the future. In addition to technical and environmental factors, the human factor also plays a key role in eel fishing on boats. This profession not only requires perseverance and patience but also requires fishermen to have experience and practical skills. Skilled workers are often able to recognize the signs of eels appearing through watercolor, currents and river bottom terrain. They also understand when eels are most active to choose the appropriate fishing method. These are experiences passed down from generation to generation, helping eel fishing to maintain and develop through many generations. In addition, working on eel fishing boats also faces many difficulties and risks. Fishermen have to live and work on the water for long periods of time, affected by harsh weather and limited living conditions. Trips last from several days to several weeks, requiring close coordination between members on board to ensure the work goes smoothly. In addition, traveling on rivers also has many potential risks such as ships hitting underwater obstacles. Work accidents or capsizing due to large waves. Therefore, each trip requires careful preparation of rescue equipment, food reserves and emergency response plans. Another important aspect is the change in eel consumption trends. If in the past, eels were mainly consumed fresh or processed by hand, now the demand for processed eel products is increasing. Many production facilities have invested in modern processing technology to create products such as packaged eel, seasoned eel, or ready-to-eat dishes for restaurants and supermarkets. This helps expand the consumer market and increase the economic value of eel fishing. In addition to development opportunities, eel fishing also faces a number of major challenges, especially the issue of conserving natural resources. Overexploitation and the use of unsustainable fishing methods can lead to a decline in the number of eels in the wild. To overcome this situation, many localities have implemented programs to protect eel habitats, such as banning fishing during the breeding season, limiting the use of electricity or chemicals, and encouraging fishermen to participate in eel farming models combined with reasonable exploitation. In general, eel fishing on boats is an industry with strong development potential but also full of challenges. The combination of traditional experience and modern technology, along with measures to protect natural resources, will help this profession maintain and develop sustainably in the future. To do that, it is necessary to have the cooperation of fishermen, businesses, managers and the community to move towards an eel fishing industry that both brings economic benefits and protects the environment to ensure the sustainable development of eel fishing on ships. There needs to be coordination between fishermen, management agencies and businesses in applying reasonable fishing policies. One of the important measures is to develop regulations on the size of eels allowed to be caught, in order to protect young eels and ensure the natural development of this species. Many countries have applied strict policies in the management of aquatic resources, such as banning fishing during the breeding season or regulating no fishing areas to protect eel habitats. Without reasonable control, overexploitation can lead to a serious decline in the number of eels in the wild, affecting the future income of fishermen. A new trend being applied in many places is to combine fishing and eel farming on ships. Some large ships not only catch but also have eel tanks on board, helping to preserve eels for longer, and can also breed or raise eels before putting them into consumption. This model helps reduce pressure on natural exploitation while ensuring a stable supply for the market. Pressure on natural exploitation while ensuring a stable supply for the market. Scientific research is also looking to develop more sustainable eel farming methods, such as mud-free eel farming or using natural food instead of industrial food to improve the quality of eel meat. In addition to reasonable exploitation, expanding the consumption market also plays an important role in the development of eel fishing. Currently, the demand for eel consumption is not only limited to the domestic market but also extends to international markets such as Japan, Korea, China and Europe. To meet export standards, eels must be caught, preserved and processed according to strict procedures, ensuring quality and food safety. This requires fishermen to improve preservation techniques, invest in processing technology and cooperate with businesses to build a high-quality eel brand. In addition to technical and market measures,